what is the best diet for maximizing your testosterone? So I've actually been looking into this a lot recently, and I've done loads of research on it. I've watched loads of videos on it on YouTube, and I've listened to a few podcasts on it as well. And I'm actually interested in this because it's something that I want to do for myself, and I've changed my diet around a lot recently based on a lot of the information I'm about to give you in this video. So stick around and yeah, hope it helps. What is affecting testosterone the most? This is the first thing you need to ask yourself. So we all know that changing your diet, making any changes to your diet is going to either improve or reduce testosterone production in the body, because the only way your body can produce testosterone is by what you nourish it with. What you give your body is what it has to deal with, and it makes stuff based on what you feed yourself. But here's the question I want to ask you. What do you think is worse for your overall testosterone production levels? Do you think it's the food that you're not eating that could increase your testosterone? Or do you think it's the foods you are eating that are currently decreasing your testosterone production? It's the second one. The foods that you are actually eating currently, probably eating, are having a way, way bigger effect on your testosterone by reducing your body's natural production of testosterone than the foods that you might not be eating. So in this video, I'm mainly going to focus. I'm not going to do what the other YouTubers do, where they talk about what you need to eat and stuff like that. I am going to do that at the end. But for the start, the main points I want to drill in is the stuff you actually need to avoid eating, because that's causing a way bigger impact. It's the stuff you are eating or drinking that is decreasing your testosterone, and you really need to focus on eliminating that from your diet before you start adding things in. So straight off the bat, what not to eat. Soybeans. Soybeans are like hyper concentrated in phytoestrogens. Now, if you don't know what a phytoestrogen is, this is essentially a molecule that acts exactly the same as the hormone estrogen, which is it is present in both male and female. It essentially reduces your body's production of testosterone. So we want to avoid substances, foods, and drink that promote or have a lot of phytoestrogens in them. Soybeans are hyper concentrated in phytoestrogens. They're really, really, really high. Seed oils, so things like rapeseed oil, sunflower oils, oils that you cook with, any kind of seed is essentially any vegetables and plants. Those kind of like seeds are all quite high in what we call phytoestrogens. You want to avoid those. Alcohol. I've done a whole video on alcohol, and I already mentioned it there, but alcohol is estrogenic and actually reduces your body's natural production of testosterone, not only because they have phytoestrogens in them, but because of a bunch of other stuff, the way it disturbs your sleep, the way it disturbs your actual natural hormone cycles. Anyway, pretty much all veg, sprouts, spinach, leafy vegetables. And I know there's a place for vegetables in your diet. I'm not saying you need to go full keto here. Try and limit your intake. If you're currently eating lots and lots of vegetables, or if you're a vegan or anything like this, I would strongly suggest maybe looking into reducing your vegetable intake and replacing that with fats and protein instead. White bread, pasta, any kind of wheat or oats, anything like that, any kind of carb heavy, complex carbohydrates, sugars like that are very high in phytoestrogens. And then milk. Milk's really, really, really high in estrogen. And it's quite funny because milk was marketed to be super healthy for us as a kid. And all kids were drinking milk, and because, it's got calcium in it, and calcium's really good for you. But milk doesn't even have that much calcium in it. And it's very high in phytoestrogens and a bunch of other inflammatory stuff, obviously lactose, which after a certain age, your body becomes less and less capable of processing in your gut. And overall, milk's just bad for you. It's just not good for you. It's got protein in it, but that's about it. You can get protein from way, way better sources of food. So I'd avoid milk like the plague. So all these foods increase estrogen and decrease testosterone. Simple as that. Keep it super simple. The foods I've listed there on the left and a few others, you can do your own research to type in foods that contain phytoestrogens. They increase your estrogen, and that in turn reduces your testosterone. So these are the foods you want to avoid from your diet. So what do you want to include in your diet? So this is why I put that section of avoiding stuff first, because the stuff that you're currently eating, if you were eating the things on the list in the previous slide, that's going to have a huge effect on your amount of testosterone your body's able to produce. So if you manage to eliminate them, then you can get a further little increase in testosterone by eating the foods here, because they all contain substances that promote the production of testosterone and are required in the production of testosterone. But if you're going to do any one of these slides, whether it's adding stuff to your diet, taking away, or a bit of both, I'd definitely recommend doing a bit of both, or just taking away the things from the previous slide off your diet. That's going to have the greatest impact. Okay, so we've got fats and grass-fed butter, that kind of thing. So replace your oils in your pan for literally butter, grass-fed butter, not like this the low-fat butters that are actually just oil, seed oils, like solidified and branded and marketed as butter. You want to get grass-fed, just normal butter. It can be salted, unsalted, doesn't really matter. Start cooking with that instead. Omega-3 fatty acids, so you can either supplement this if you really don't like fish, or you can just eat fish, fatty fishes. This is salmon, mackerel, that kind of thing. You've got red meats. Red meats are high in cholesterol, and that's been marketed and said around the world as a very bad thing to have high cholesterol. But the reality is there's very few cases of people that have really high cholesterol unless you're eating a lot of processed foods. If you're actually on self-improvement, by now, if you're on self-improvement, you'll probably have eliminated a lot of processed foods out your diet. And if you're eating whole foods, then you'll be probably not getting a lot of cholesterol in your system. And cholesterol is the building block of not just testosterone, but actually all the hormones in your body, all the steroid hormones in your body require cholesterol. It's the first start of the process. So your body needs cholesterol, and red meats are high in that. And so are eggs as well. You've got salmon on here just to get those omega-3 fatty acids. It's a really tasty fish. If you don't like salmon, then that's fine. You can just eat meats instead to get your fatty acids in, but or you can supplement the fatty acids with omega-3. It's not that expensive. But if you do like salmon, then eat lots of salmon. It's, you can get it relatively inexpensive, and you can get it frozen and just defrost it. It's what I do. And obviously eggs. Eggs are amazing. Eggs are like the superfood on this list. Try and go for like 5 a day. Eat the yolk of the eggs. A lot of bodybuilders will have egg whites, but they'll probably eat the egg yolk as well. And then they add in extra egg whites because they need that much protein. But for like guys just like you and me, you probably just fine eating about 5 eggs a day. There's so much packed into eggs, and they're just a perfect kind of food to promote testosterone. They've got the fats, they've got the protein, and they've got the cholesterol. Vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc are the 3 most important micronutrients involved in the production of testosterone. Don't ask me why, because I don't know why. I've looked into the science of this, and it does get really complicated. It's all to do with like enzymes and aromatase, but essentially these 3 micronutrients are going to be needed to produce testosterone. So look up sources of where you can get vitamin D. Obviously, just go outside the sun. That's not a dietary thing. Magnesium and zinc can be a bit more complicated. You can either supplement these relatively inexpensively, or you can just go out and buy foods high in these. I believe nuts and things are quite high in magnesium and zinc. But obviously they're quite high in calories as well. So just be careful when you're having nuts. But yeah, if you need to supplement, these are the 3 kind of supplements that you probably need. Most people in the world are deficient in magnesium, so I definitely get some of that. I've got some right here, just from Boots. And yeah, just magnesium is just good. And then shellfish. I've not really experimented with this too much. I like all seafoods, but apparently prawns and things like that are super good for you as well, for testosterone production specifically. These foods promote increases in testosterone and lower estrogen levels, because these foods don't have many phytoestrogens in them. Based on the research we have today, they don't have many phytoestrogens in. So yeah, these are good foods to include in your diet, but the main thing is to avoid the foods in the previous slide. Cholesterol, we've already spoke about cholesterol. So yeah, I've put all the stuff in here. I've already spoke about it, but yeah, cholesterol is absolutely necessary in the production of testosterone. So make sure that you are consuming enough of it. Obviously, if you do have any medical conditions, I'm not a doctor. If your doctor said to you not to limit your consumption of cholesterol, then do so. And I've got included a graph here, which just shows the hormone cascade in the human body. So cholesterol is the main ingredient, and then you can see everything else, including testosterone and DHT, is made through cholesterol. Just to end the video off, guys, some key actionable steps for you, just so this video can be super helpful and super concise for you, is some key takeaways that I want you to do today if you are serious about increasing your testosterone, especially through your diet, is eat more protein in the forms of red meat, eggs, fatty fishes, and then aim for about 2 grams per kilogram of body weight of protein. So if you weigh 80 kilograms, aim for 160 grams protein. Cook with grass-fed butter or ghee. I've not used ghee before. Some kind of special butter, but yeah, it's meant to be good. It's meant to be better than butter, actually. Reduce your intake of carbs, especially pasta, wheat, and oats. So carbs, based on my research, are not going to be great, conducive to high testosterone, to be honest. And yeah, they're high in phytoestrogens, so avoid carbs if you can. And then avoid sugar. Sugar is very bad for you, not only just for your testosterone, but in general for your brain health and a whole myriad of other things. Sugar is just not great. It can be addictive, and it can make you actually hungrier. It can speed up your metabolism to such an extent that you become very hungry all the time. So they're the kind of 5 main things. Avoid sugar, avoid milk, reduce carbs, swap your oils out for butter when you're cooking, and then eat more protein. This is the diet model I follow, 40-40-20. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of articles you look at will swap the fats and the carbs around there and say 40 protein, 40 carbs, 20 fats. Fats are extremely healthy for you. It's a big myth, and it's a very common myth, and a lot of people spew out is that fat is bad for you, and it's just not. Fat is very good for you, especially if you want to increase your testosterone, especially if you're into bodybuilding, especially if you want to lose body fat. Believe it or not, fat is good for you, and it's carbs that is going to make you struggle with fat loss and struggle with muscle gain, etc. So if you are wanting to improve your testosterone, and if you want to just feel better with your diet, and you don't want to have carb crashes, and you just want to feel good from what you eat, I'd follow 40-40-20 between protein, fats, and carbs. That's worked really well for me, and I've been doing that now for just under a month, I'd say. I was eating a lot more carbs 3 weeks ago. I've drastically cut down my carb levels since a lot of the research I've done. So yeah, hope this video was helpful, guys, and you learned something from it. And as always, have a great day.